Okay, so now in this part we will learn about the structure of a volcano. There are two parts I have mentioned here, vent and volcanic cone. So let's learn vent. The lava flows out through an opening in the earth's crust is called vent. Now this vent is look like a circular pipe as you can see in the diagram. Next is volcanic cone. The accumulation of molten material around the vent gives to the volcano its typical cone like shape, which is called volcanic cone. The next topic is the types of volcano. So there are mainly three types of volcano: active, dormant and extinct. So active volcanoes, these volcanoes eject materials at a regular interval, or they may have erupted within the recent time. For example, Mount Etna, Mount Stromboli. Then dormant volcano, these volcanoes have not erupted in the recent historical period. Okay, they are regarded as sleeping volcano. For example, Mount Vesuvius. Then extinct volcano, these volcanoes have not erupted in the present geological period and are not likely to become active. They are also called as dead volcano. For example, Mount Popa of Myanmar. So let's learn the effects of volcano. There are mainly two effects. One is constructive, another one is destructive. First we will learn about constructive effects. Now due to volcanic eruption, several types of extrusive landforms formed in the earth's surface. So what are these? One by one we will discuss. So let's start with volcanic plateau. So these plateaus are derived from the lava which flows from the volcanic eruption. The plateau of peninsular India, especially the Deccan plateau, is an example of lava plateau. The next one is volcanic mountain. So these mountains are built from the materials which flows out during volcanic eruption. For example, Mauna Loa in Hawaii. Next is caldera lake, which is another example of extrusive landform formed due to volcanic eruption. What happened during the repetitive eruption? The summit of a volcano may be blown up. In its place, a large depression called caldera is formed. Now, when the magma chamber is no longer able to emit sufficient magma, and this results in the collapse of volcanic cone, this depression eventually gets filled with water and forms a lake. For example, Crater Lake in USA. Okay. So the next point is in the constructive effect. The next point is they create a very rich fertile soil like black soil, which is helpful for the growth of crops like cotton and sugarcane. Then the geysers and the hot spring have the medicinal value. So next we will learn about geyser and hot spring. So first is geyser. So a geyser is a fountain of hot water and steam that escapes when underground water comes into contact with hot volcanic rock. For example, Old Faithful in Yellowstone National Park. It is also a good source of power of heating. Then the second one is a hot spring. So the movement of magma in the interior of the earth heats up the underground water, particularly around the magma chamber. So when the water turns into the steam, it oozes up to the surface. The hot spring, also known as thermal spring, which contain many dissolved mineral, okay, which is good for health, especially curing skin cancer. Now here over here I have mentioned the difference between these two, that is geyser and hot spring. So first point, you see water rises to the surface with an explosion, and in hot spring there is no explosion. Geysers are mainly found in the volcanic originated areas, and hot springs are not associated with volcanic origin. Let's learn some of the destructive effects of a volcano. So when the volcanoes erupt, they destroy life and property. Second is that it causes extremely high sea waves. At the same time, it releases some harmful gases which is not good for our environment, which cause air pollution. Agricultural fields are covered with the layers of ash and dust, making them unfertile for agriculture. Then huge clouds are also formed during the volcanic eruption, which may cause heavy rainfall, right, which results in floods and landslides. Next, we will learn the important volcanic zones of the world. There are two important zones. One is circum-Pacific belt or ring fire. Another one is mid-world mountain belt. So, the first one is the circum-Pacific belt or Pacific ring of fire. So, the volcano generally occurs near the earthquake belt, which are generally situated in the areas where there is a young fold mountain. Okay, so the circum-Pacific belt is also called as Pacific ring of fire because over 80% of the total number of active volcanoes all are concentrated in this region. So, this area stretching from New Zealand along the eastern edge of Asia, Alaska and some parts of North and South America. This next one is mid-world mountain belt. Mount Vesuvius, Mount Etna, Mount Stromly are the famous active volcanoes located here. The only active volcano in India is in Andaman and Nicobar Island, which is also located in this belt.